I'm Heather.
And I'm Desiree.
And you're listening to
the Perpetually Overdue podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last episode of the Perpetually Overdue podcast for season 1. My name is Heather.
And I'm Desiree.
And today we are doing a finale episode for season 1, which means we're going to reflect on just the entire season of Perpetually Overdue.
Especially because it was our first season ever. So there's a lot to kind of look back on.
Yeah, look back on, reminisce, laugh about, joke about, cringe just a little bit. But we've got a fun episode for you guys. If you've listened to the Perpetually Overdue podcast over season 1, first of all, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. You have no idea how much.
Yes.
But also, you'll recognize some of the things that we're going to talk about today, and you'll get to know us a little bit better as the hosts, at least as far as the podcast goes.
Yes.
So, Desiree, let's start off with a couple of questions. And then later in the episode, we're going to get into some awards for the podcast. And we will wrap up with what to expect in season 2 of the Perpetually Overdue podcast.
And at the end, we will reveal the date for season 2's return. So stick around and we'll let you know when we're coming back.
Yay! Now, when we first started this podcast, there was a lot of conversation about just the podcast in general. This wasn't our first podcast idea. No. We have mentioned that before. So what were your expectations, hopes, dreams, whatever, going into starting this podcast?
I will say, I don't know why. I felt like this time around, there was something in the air that felt like we'd actually do it this time. Whereas the previous attempts, we got pretty far in the last attempt. I mean, I think we got a website and a domain, and we were really hopeful. We were really hopeful. It didn't go further than that. So then this time around, I felt like we both unconsciously garnered more knowledge and just information about what will go into it. I mean, podcasts obviously evolved in the last few years majorly, as well as the internet. And so I felt more prepared going into this. Now, as far as what did I expect of the podcast in general, it wasn't until we officially kind of put together an idea of what our first episode was going to be, and we were already kind of putting together what the studio situation will look like. And once things really started forming, I got hopeful that this could be a fun opportunity to build community. And that's really what I wanted at the end of the day. We were in a very interesting time in history, so things were majorly happening and changing. And so it felt encouraging to go, okay, this is a safe space where you and I can say all the things we want to say and find like-minded people who we can connect with and who can hopefully connect with us and create that space for community to grow. And that was it. That was pretty much what I was hoping would come out of this.
I love that. I will say, to tack on to what you said earlier about the previous podcast idea, we've never revealed the name, nor will we reveal the name, just in case. You never know if we ever want to use it in the future. But I will say there's a part of me that wishes we would have done it back then, just because the market wasn't so oversaturated with podcasts at the time. But then there's another part of me that was like, we would have been overwhelmed because one, expectations back then were so high. I mean, the branding that we were talking about doing would have required us to rent a studio, hire a photographer, do all of these things. And we didn't have the finances, resources, connections to do any of that.
Nope.
And then the program that we used to record and edit and everything didn't exist back then.
Nope. Oh God, what were we?
The amount of work
what we were planning to do.
The amount of work that we would have had to do back then. But granted, we would have done it, and we would have put the hard work in like we always do, and it just would have not been as easy as it is now. But the timing would have been maybe perhaps a little bit better.
I think it would have been better market wise.
Yes.
I don't know personally wise. I feel like we were very different people back then, still doing a lot of healing.
Yeah.
In areas that I think we would have been more wounded individuals coming onto a podcast to scream into the void. Whereas I feel like we very much have, I think, matured and healed in many areas since then. Yeah. That I feel like we came far more stabilized to discuss hot topics and different things.
I agree with you. I think also just the premise of the other podcast is just not our vibe today. I think that we were trying to be cheeky and controversial back then, but
absolutely,
I don't know that we could have really pulled it off because it's not really authentic to our personality or who we are. And so I think it would have been more forced had we tried to do that format. It was a lot of like, let's talk about sex. Let's talk about blah, 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 blah. So as far as the expectations for this podcast, I had none because I just wanted to have fun. I wanted it to be a fun project, but more importantly, and this is going to resonate with so many people that have ADHD, I wanted to follow through on something, anything, like from beginning to end, all of the stuff. And it just, again, it was the right timing in that sense because having a husband who does UX design for a living, who went to art school, he was able to do all of our branding. We had,
we love you, Nick.
We had the tools, we had the resources, and that some of that was accumulated over time. Some of that was happenstance, but we were also in a better place personally to be able to do this podcast, give our opinions, and feel confident about what those opinions are. Because even though you're ever evolving as a person, you still, at the core of who you are the same. And so I think that there's massive differences in age. Like I think about who I was at 19 versus who I was at 25 versus who I was at 35. And I'm sure I'm going to look back at 45 or 50 and feel very differently. But I think I've settled into the core of who I am now. And I think a lot of my strong opinions and convictions are going to remain the same.
Yeah.
So there's that. But as far as like how the podcast would do, similar to you, I just was like, it would be fun if we had people who resonated with us, like the things that we said. We could build a community kind of thing. And we still intend on doing that in seasons to come. But those were my expectations. Zero expectations.
I love it. I love it. So, Heather, what do you think or how do you feel now that season 1 is ending? It's like after all that history of finally doing it, we did it. We did one full season now, or officially it's here. How do you feel now that it's ending?
I feel a little sad. Not because like the podcast is going to go anywhere, but I don't know. I think it's always bittersweet when one chapter closes and another begins. You know, by the time we come back, we're going to have some life experiences under our belt. I mean, it's not going to be a dramatic time change or anything like that. We're not going to be gone for like months and months and months, but I do feel like some things are going to change. And I feel that on a personal level too, because just for the audience, like I'm going to Scotland for my birthday this year, which is this month. It's the 21st. Go Virgos. Don't come for me. Because I know a lot of people have issues with Virgos, but I'm an evolved Virgo. But on my birthday is the autumn equinox, is a new moon, and also a solar eclipse. So I feel like some shit is gonna like, and this is just personal, transformative, inward life, not anything like I'm gonna come back and be a completely different person externally. I think it's all gonna be inward. But I'm excited to know how that change is gonna happen, and then you're gonna have a birthday coming up. So by the time we come back, we're gonna be 1 year older, guys.
Sorry, I'm still in denial. I'm not prepared. But also for me, I am working also on my health.
Yeah.
With a new doctor that I'm fingers crossed, hopeful is gonna actually finally create some good positive changes. So hopefully in the time we come back, significant changes in that area have hopefully happened as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? Definitely think we'll be a little, I guess evolved is the best word to use by that time.
Yeah. But overall, I think I can speak for both of us when I say that we feel really proud that we stuck through it. It never really affected us what was going on outside of the rooms that we're in when we're filming in terms of like views and numbers and engagement and all of those things. We're like, okay, that'll come one day. We just need to be consistent.
Yeah.
And it never really got hard, at least not for me. I want Desiree to obviously speak for herself, but it never really got hard to continue doing this because we picked topics that we found to be engaging and fun, and we always ended up having fun filming these episodes.
No, I agree. Like, if it was hard ever, it was just for the sake of, unfortunately, my chronic conditions have really come for my ass the last, I would say, like 6 months, and they progressively got worse in the last 3 months. So it made just doing anything, even things I really wanted to do, very, very difficult a lot of times. And when the insomnia got worse, you know, being available to film at the hours that we have set to film also just became difficult physically, but that had nothing to do with mentally where, you know, I was, because I always enjoyed doing these. I always, at the end, we would finish filming, I was like, that was a good time, I'm glad we did that, kind of a deal. And also I get to hang out with my best friend.
I know. I was just thinking that. I was like, we don't live in the same state. This is, I mean, like, obviously, if we weren't doing the podcast, we'd figure out other ways to hang out or whatever. But life gets so busy. We're both trying to build careers. We're both trying to better ourselves. And so this allows us to mix a little business and pleasure together and be more intentional about having that face-to-face conversation.
Because we would text every day. That wasn't an issue. It's this that we get to do this face-to-face hangout weekly is really nice. And I've been really happy that we had this opportunity to do that. Definitely for me, I've loved coming here and filming these every week. To answer the question about how I feel about season 1 ending, same. It's a bittersweet kind of a deal where it's kind of like we're officially, you know, putting a stamp on the first season done. And, you know, logical worries, oh my God, as like the little we've done to progress the algorithm, or we're going to fall off the face of the earth now to listeners.
Girl, and we already have because of TikTok. That's a whole.
But there's those logical fears and whatnot, but at the end of the day, we've enjoyed this. We have connected with people via TikTok and other places that people have left comments, which has been really fun to engage with. So we're excited for just like the new content we're ready to bring after a nice little refresh,
which you will find out at the end of the episode. But the last question before we get into our awards is, Desiree, what is your favorite episode this season? I know it's hard because there were many.
This was hard, and I literally like looked through our video list before we filmed just to refresh my thoughts and going, is this my favorite? Was this my favorite? Kind of a deal. There are a few like top 3, top 5, but I think one of my favorites, because it was so unexpected, was actually the first Am I the Asshole video.
Okay. Because I did not know this ahead of time.
She didn't. For me, it was one of those things that we needed something. We reached out to some friends. I'm not on Reddit. I'm never a Reddit girl. Reddit overwhelms me. And it's too overstimulating, and it's like a visual mess. It doesn't appeal to me visually, so I don't like it. But I had friends do the dirty work, and they brought us stories, and we didn't know what was going to happen going into that episode. We were reacting to them blind. We had never done something like this before, and it ended up being such a fun time that literally at the end of it, we were like, that was actually more fun than we expected. Especially
me, because Desiree had the idea to do the Am I the Asshole? And I was like, God, I don't want to do this. Mostly because every time I would come across those videos and they picked the worst of the worst people. And not that the people that we had were like any better, because they weren't, but it was a lot of relationship type am I the assholes, and it just pissed me off. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do an episode about this and not go all the way off on these people.
And though some of that did happen, it actually, a little bit. But it was actually a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed that. That was one of my favorite episodes.
Let's see. My favorite episode was, and I actually told Desiree this already, so this is not a surprise to her, but it was our holiday episode. We didn't have a Halloween episode because we started in November, but rest assured, if we had one, that would have probably been my favorite episode. But it was the Deck the Halls with Pagan Rituals, talking about winter solstice and just the history behind a lot of the Christmas traditions that we follow today. I loved, first of all, I had a beautiful decorated tree behind me. Did. I was wearing a very comfortable Christmassy onesie that actually has a really funny story attached to it, that if you were behind the scenes, you would have heard about it. It's a little too controversial for YouTube, so I can't say it. It was a wardrobe malfunction, and I'll just leave it at that. And we got to talk about a topic that I really felt passionate about. I learned so much doing the research of it. And if you can't tell, in that episode, I was like, bah, 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 bah. And did you know this? And did you know that?
Yep.
So it was definitely up there. I mean, I have other ones that come close second, but that one was probably my favorite.
And I mean, I loved that episode too, just for the fact that, I mean, Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. And just that time of year. Fall is my favorite season, but December is my favorite time of year. It's my birthday. It's Christmas. It's just lights and coziness and, you know,
warm, all fuzzy feelings.
Yes. And the decor and the lights. I adore it. So the fact that like we got to kind of dress up a little and get a little festive with our backgrounds. We loved it. We jammed out to some songs that we couldn't put in the episode.
No.
And we even tried to incorporate in the bloopers, but YouTube didn't let us.
5 seconds. It was a 5-second clip, and they were like, nope.
They were like, blocked in most territories. I was like, are you serious? Anyway, but it was a lot of fun. And Heather came with so much research and knowledge that I didn't know about, that was fascinating to know that these things we grew up doing just second nature because it's what we were told, it's what's been done. What just realizing all the history and the origins behind it was fascinating, especially as ex-Christians. And so
especially,
exactly. So I really enjoyed. That's definitely on one of my top 5s.
So now for the next portion of this episode, we will get into our awards. We have just a couple of categories, not too many, but we wanted to acknowledge some things throughout the season that for us were high points, some that were low points. But we have a little trophy for each award.
It's a Lego.
I wish I could just pass it through the screen to you.
I wish I could.
Wouldn't that be wild if you had one too? And I just went like this?
Well, do it the other way.
Oh. Ta-da!
That would have been awesome.
So our first one is kind of piggybacking off of the one that we just did, which is our favorite collective episode.
Yes.
Drum roll. Our 90s episode.
That, I mean, if you watch it, you clearly saw we had fun. I mean, from head to toe. From head to toe. We were ready for this episode.
I mean, we're talking about our childhood. There's so much nostalgia that went into that episode. And we were, for a different reason that we'll get into a little bit later with the awards, we were scrolling through some episodes, just like skimming through them. And I was doing it as well, trying to find one particular moment But what I noticed about that episode is how much we laughed in it. Or how many moments you saw our eyes bug out because we were like, oh my God, about something that somebody brought up that was very 90s. And it was like, what, our third episode that we did?
No, our third was vigilante shit. It might have been the fourth or fifth.
It might have been the fourth or fifth one, but it was really early on. It was a lot of fun and people liked it. Mm-hmm. And I think that we both had a good time on it. We both put a lot of effort into it. Yes. And it was just fun to go down memory lane and revisit our childhood.
The good and the ugly.
Yeah, all the cringy moments that we had. Gosh. But anyways, yeah, so that is our favorite collective episode. Desiree, what is our next award?
So next, friends, we are going to talk about the number one episode on Spotify and the number one episode on YouTube. Because interestingly enough,
they're
different people watch or listen to our content and they have their favorite places to do that. Yeah. Some people prefer visual podcasts where others are more than happy to just listen while they're, doing their stuff throughout their day. So it was interesting to see if there was a difference. We have some honorable mentions regarding third and second place on both platforms. Yeah. So we're going to start with those. Heather.
Okay, so for Spotify, the third place, meaning most viewed episode, was Astrology Unveiled.
Which surprised me.
I know, right? Because I just didn't think that... I knew that there was a community out there that was going to really appreciate the astrology. It's the tarot, metaphysical, witchy community, which please find us. You're our community. We love you guys. And it wasn't the only one in third place. The first Am I the Asshole tied for third with Astrology Unveiled. So there you go. Completely different topics.
Completely.
Like, how could you have possibly known? Then in second place was one of our controversial episodes, Vigilante Shit, talking about the United Healthcare controversy. I'm sure everybody knows Luigi Mangione. We talked about that situation, as was everybody in the entire world talking about it. So that was in second place. And then in first place, I'm happy to say, was Deck the Halls with Pagan Rituals. You get our number one spot on Spotify.
Yay! Again, it was very interesting to see what people connected with where. And so now we're going to switch over because that was Spotify. And then on YouTube, things are a little different.
Yeah.
So in third place for most viewed episode is the 90s nostalgia.
Yeah.
So I believe definitely in part why that is because visually we presented also the whole nostalgic aspect of it. Totally. The thumbnail was very nostalgic, so I can see that people would have been drawn to that. So that was a lot of fun. In second place is Deck the Halls with Pagan Rituals. So that one also definitely acquired some attention, but number one is very different from Spotify's number one. And the winner of most viewed video episode is Am I the Asshole? The first one. Woo!
Everybody loves a good Am I the Asshole story. I think we just like bad behavior.
They do. And because I think it's always intriguing, the person telling the story of the situation and kind of trying to understand the dynamic of who's really the asshole, the person telling it or the people they're telling it about.
90% of the time, and I feel like, I don't know if this is like a formula when it comes to Am I the Asshole, because I feel like I jumped onto that bandwagon a little bit late.
Same.
It always feels like it's the person that they're talking about, not the person who's narrating the situation, who ends up being the asshole. In fact, the person who ends up telling a story is the one who's the victim.
Yeah. At least the ones we've come across.
Right. And so they're like, am I the asshole? I'm like, no, you're the furthest thing from it. That other person, they're the asshole.
Yes.
So our next award goes to our favorite moment of the season, which is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
But we would like to make an honorable mention because throughout the entire season, you've heard about my husband, Nick. So he's kind of become part of the podcast,
Yes, he's our third
essentially.
member.
He's our third member. And if you watch the bloopers episode, you actually heard him a few times in the background. So if you haven't watched that, go ahead on YouTube and watch that. It's only on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But his favorite moment, because he's mentioned it a couple times, just in
And
passing.
I only learned this recently.
Just in passing, we'll be like out doing errands and it'll be mentioned. It was supposed to be in the bloopers episode, but unfortunately, due to copyright, we couldn't keep it in. But Desiree and I like to bust out into song every once in a while. It's kind of always been our thing. Just like quoting movie lines is kind of, and granted, this is not unique to us in any way. Like people do this all the time.
Yes.
But one day we got really lost in Pump Up the Jam. And if you're early 90s baby, then you know this song. And I wish I could sing it for you right now, but
I know. I'm going to not sing it, but just say it's pump the jam, pump it up. Now your feet are something, 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 dun, dun. And it goes on. So hopefully that's enough that you're like, oh, I know that song.
Yeah. And then there's like an oh wow part.
Yes.
I can't continue because I'm going to start singing it. But anyway, at the moment, Desiree, she went off on her own, went off and sang a part of the song that I didn't realize until I heard it recently because I was in like a nostalgic early 90s dance music type of mood. And so I went back and I listened to a bunch of those songs and I was like, holy shit, that's the part that Desiree went off on and was like,
because it was a very like scat moment in the song.
It really was.
And I know that part like viscerally. It's in my memory.
It was verbatim. I had no idea. I was like, holy shit, I thought she just made that up. Because I thought she was just going off on a tangent. She made it up. What's so funny is often my husband will be near me when I'm editing and I put that blooper episode together just as like a fun thing to do because it's something that we've talked about, but it takes a lot of fucking work to go through all the episodes and find those clips.
Heather deserves the award. Lift that award up. No, seriously, lift
there
it up.
There you go.
Because she deserves of the year. Editor of the year. Because I don't think I would have had the patience to scour every episode at that moment.
And then some of them were archived. It's a whole thing.
It was a whole thing.
But he was next to me when I was editing the bloopers together. And he just laughed so hard at that part. So that's got to be Nick's favorite.
I did not know that until recently.
But Desiree, what was your favorite moment? Because it has to do with me now.
So my favorite moment, which I painstakingly tried to find the exact episode it was in, and for the life of me, I can't find it right now. If any of you remember and know exactly where I'm talking about, please, for the love of God, let me know. But there was an episode where we were, because we talk about this frequently, just like the fact of what millennials used to do and Gen Z pretty much thinking they invented it, and or they're gatekeeping on certain things, saying we can't do them anymore. And so we were ranting about that again somewhere, and Heather just had this moment where she was just like, skinny jeans in, skinny jeans out. And I remember that I edited that episode and that I had singled her out when we used to do that in the beginning of editing when we were still figuring
experimental phase.
Yeah, bless. And so I had singled her out in that moment, and that moment just will jump at the most random times in my memory by myself, and I will hear Heather in my head, skinny jeans in, skinny jeans out. And I loved it so much. It was so good. It was so
I'm honored.
So that one frequently comes to mind, and that was definitely a favorite moment that I relive often.
My favorite moment is actually a series of moments. It's pretty much anytime we bust out into a random song. We had done this in a couple episodes, and this is actually one that I think you will be able to see in the bloopers episode. But it was like when we would often bust out in cabaret.
Yes.
And we kind of made it a thing for like a little while, and I wish we would have kept it going, because we would just randomly be like, welcome and bienvenue. Welcome.
Because for those who don't know, and I don't know if we ever really talked about it, I actually was in a production of Cabaret in high school.
We did talk about
that. We did? Okay. So
booby tassels.
We did talk about it. Yeah, we did. It's all coming back to me. So it has been something that throughout our entire friendship, she has heard me randomly bust out so many times that if someone says the word welcome, it's like a trigger automatic happens.
But I mean, for every intro of this podcast, we have said welcome. Or did some sort of introduction, so it just automatically would happen. And there's this one moment in particular where I was like, we were not really in the filming mode, so we were just shooting the shit back in the studio, kind of. We were recording, but we knew we were going to edit it out. We hadn't really started, and we did the whole welcome and bienvenue, but we're like on our phone or doing other things at the same time. And
we did it for a long time. That was like one of the longest segments of that.
And I go to cabaret. And then I was like, I know that is not really what it's like. And Desiree cracked me up every time I see this clip. She's just like, yeah, but it should be like that. I think it's supposed to be like that. It should be like, everyone should love that. She just went off on it. And it's probably only funny to me, but I enjoyed it just because she was just so quick in the moment. She's like, yeah, but that's how it should be. Everyone should like that. And like that very kind of nonchalant attitude while she's saying it too. Really, when we bust out an NSYNC during the holiday episode, when we busted out and pump up the jam.
Yes, when I finally remembered what it was, because
that's right.
It plagued me. I had done a choreographed thing in 5th grade in PE class to that song, but I couldn't remember the song for weeks.
Did everybody do a choreographed dance in the 5th grade? Because I did too, but it was that tell the DJ to play my favorite song. That was the one that we did our choreographed dance to.
Yes. Oh man. So when I finally remembered it, it was a glorious moment, and then we partook many times in singing it since then.
Not only that, but the random quoting, especially of Fifth Element, which seems to be collectively our favorite movie. To quote ever of all time. So you'll often hear us quoting the Fifth Element.
Liludalis multipass.
That's my favorite one.
Multipass.
She knows it's a multipass.
Anyway, we're in love.
That is my favorite one to quote, and Nick has heard it incessantly, but also chican, good chican.
Good chican. When we were together in Colorado,
oh my god,
earlier this year, he got to witness that a lot.
We should have watched it. I don't know why we didn't watch it.
Oh my god, right?
I own it now. Yes. Physical media. You should get physical media.
Yes.
I love that movie. I think the funniest part of that movie to me, the funniest part, is when the guy is trying to rob that's Bruce Willis's character. Moments, he's like, I really like your hat. And he's like, you like it? But remember where he presses the button on the gun to disarm it? He's like, oh, it's not armed. You got to press that button. And he was like, to try to press it. And then it completely disarms the gun. He's like, I'm just going to take that from you. It's very dangerous. He's like, take it. I don't need it.
And it's the whole like full body like acting in that moment.
That guy was in the movie for 2 seconds. And next to Chris Tucker, he was the funniest person in
one of the most memorable characters. Seriously.
Now, you might not know this if you've been listening to us in the past 10 minutes, but this is not the Fifth Element Awards. Even though we've turned this into that.
Yes.
By the way, I just want to know, what is your favorite line to quote? Is it the Lilu Dallas multipass that you mentioned earlier?
It's hard. I don't know if favorite as in just what I automatically have done throughout the years the most, and I think actually the most I have done is the chicken. I have done the chicken good so many times that it's just, I don't know, it's always the one that comes to mind always.
I mean,
and
it makes
then
sense.
next,
We eat a lot of chicken.
Yeah, and then I would say my favorite would be multipass.
Lilo Dallas Multipass. Okay, so moving on.
And for the next award for season 1 is the biggest disaster of the season award, which goes right. It's like break it into pieces. It was a recent one too.
It was.
So the award for biggest disaster of the season goes to Heather.
Performative self-care. And the reason is because we were 40 minutes into the episode and realized that neither one of us had hit record, which is usually my job, so I'm just going to take credit for that. We always do a sound check and pose for like thumbnails right before the actual episode.
Mm-hmm.
We had done that just fine, no problems, no issues. Yep. Then it came to the actual episode, and 40 minutes into it, I'm trying to look for the timestamp because I'm like, we've been talking for a while. Let's see how long it's been, because we always try to stop it and wrap it up at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
There was no timestamp, and I interrupted Desiree. I was like, hold on a second.
And I was like, what?
We have not been recording this entire time. And the drop of expression on her face, I think you even like dropped your whole body down.
I think my whole body went down because I literally just felt a weight. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
As Desiree said earlier, physically, it's really difficult for her to get up at a certain time that to her is considered to be very early because she stays up very late. Mm-hmm. She's pretty much on a night schedule. Mm-hmm. Which she's now trying to reverse.
Which my doctor is trying to reverse because, you know, and I'm just trying to go along with it.
It's for her health. But we're like, we get here, we have our coffee in tow, we're a little tired. We both have things going on medically. I have iron and vitamin D deficiency, which I'm like fatigued all the time. Desiree with her PCOS is fatigued all the time, and insomnia that comes from the PCOS. So we have to sometimes be like,
like turn it on,
pump it up to like
all that beat get is pumping.
To get ourselves going. To find out that 40 minutes in and the conversation is flowing, everything is fine. It would have been a beautiful episode had that not happened. So
I mean, because imagine we pretty much got 80% of our point across already by that point. To need to start over, and I am not the type of person who can like regurgitate word for word, point for point. Like once I let it out, it's gone. It left my brain. It's gone. And so I was like, oh my, I was panicking. I was like, I'm not going to be able to say any of that again. All of it. It's over.
And there were things that even though after we woosad and like gave ourselves a minute to mourn, that when we actually hit record and started the episode again, which you can tell the energy was not the same. You could see what it was like before versus what it was like after. But there were some things that didn't exactly translate because they were in the moment thoughts. Yeah. And so we tried, because I did the social media clips for that episode. So I was able to see a lot of the episode. And I think that we made some really good points. I think that we got the general gist of what we wanted to get across, but it was still heartbreaking.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was you had mentioned it when it happened, how a lot of times we feel like an episode didn't go well, and then when we actually edit it and put it together, and I was the one who edited that episode, and it was that, like, I was, by near the end of the editing, I was like, okay, you know, we actually put this back together pretty well. Yeah. In my head, I remembered it being like a chaotic mess, because that was what was going on in my brain. But
it feels that way.
Yeah, but we actually did a good job, and I enjoyed the topic of that episode very much. So hopefully you guys have watched and listened to it.
I think we do a good job for the most part, even on the episodes that we feel like we're really struggling. I think you could tell in the beginning of the episode, and I think we even mentioned...
We didn't hide it. We mentioned the situation. I was like, and you were like, let me give Desiree a moment. I'll answer first.
Because I know that feel, and Luckily, this happened on a day when it wasn't too bad. We weren't too exhausted.
And we weren't planning 2 episodes to film.
That's because, let me tell you, there were days where if that had happened, it would have been a wrap. We would have been like, let's try again next week.
Or just move on to the next episode.
Because I can't do this right now. So we got lucky because we were able to still kind of get back on the bandwagon after having like a moment, but it was definitely hard when I first realized it. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. This is like our worst nightmare come true for recording.
So that definitely is warranted for the biggest disaster of the season award. Season 1.
Season 1, yes. And we've had a couple bumps in the road with other things going on, but that was 40 minutes. 40 minutes of yapping our mouths. And none of that was being recorded. So finally, it did. It hurt my soul too. Our most controversial episode, Desiree.
Feminine rage heard around the world.
Here you go, girl.
Which was our very first episode out of the gate, November 17th. We were presenting ourselves to the world and we were like, here we are. We have some feminine rage we want to talk about.
And mansplainers showed up in our comments on YouTube. And instantly. It was like, caca, a call
Never
for them.
again like that. Never again has it happened. But that one, they all came out of the woodworks and heard the call and flooded our YouTube with their visceral mansplaining. And I was just like, oh, damn. Okay, so is this how it's going to be?
Yeah, we had no idea. I mean, technically that episode is our most watched episode, but we kind of like put it aside as a fluke because the numbers were so drastically different from the rest of our episodes. I think it was really poignant for that time. It was right after the election. It was, after Roe versus Wade was overturned, there was a lot going on. And in addition to that, I think the fact that it had the word feminine, the phrase feminine rage in it is probably what attracted a lot of these incels to the comment section, because we talk about women's issues all the time. And we talk about men all too. We had a whole episode about the male loneliness epidemic, and not a single incel showed up.
Interesting. Yeah.
In the comment section to defend men for that one. And it wasn't just that they were like being rude, because that was an aspect of it, but they really thought that they were saying something and educating us and explaining to us. And if you know me, and I think also if you know Virgos, we don't let that shit slide. And I am very good with my words in the sense that I don't have to cuss at you. I don't have to say anything derogatory towards you, and I can still pretty much tear you down a couple pegs and make you feel this small, because I use my intellect and I use my knowledge and I only speak about the things that I know. And if I don't know, I educate myself on it before I respond. So a lot of the things that were
concept,
I know, right? A lot of the things that I was saying, I knew what I was talking about, and things that they were saying were just,
I mean, they came in completely invalidating every single one of our points. And it was just like, okay, male, you are going to come and invalidate the female experience because you know better than we do?
All the way up to diagnosing us with like mass hysteria. And I was like,
it was the 1950s all over again.
Because women don't have anything to be upset about. I mean, we've always been treated perfectly, and we've always had all of our rights. Like, why would we be pissed off about anything or have rage about anything? So needless to say, I read them for filth in the comment section nicely and respectfully.
She did.
And I pointed out that they were not showing that respect initially. And so even though they didn't earn my respect, I was going to be the bigger person and give it to them and not tell them they were just fucking morons, which is what I wanted to say. But it was our first episode too. Like, are we going to, we're talking about creating a safe place for people. And I'm just gonna like rip these guys to shred in the comments section. The next time that happened, it was on one of our shorts on YouTube. And this guy was like, "Oh, I can't take you seriously with that bone in your nose," talking about my septum ring. I didn't even have to say anything. People came for him.
It was
for
beautiful.
Me.
It was beautiful. People instantly pounced and were like, "Bro, come on."
Yeah. It was an old white man, enough said.
Of course, yeah. So that was glorious. That was definitely our most controversial episode. It was fun because I felt like it was also very cathartic for the time that we both really needed to talk about what we talked about. And I was proud that that was what we were presenting as our first episode as well.
Same.
Yeah, so that was a lot of good memories. But that is officially the awards for season 1, friends. What did you think? Are there any that you would vote differently for? Or would you give a different, give a different episode a certain award? That would be a lot of fun if you would share with us in any of the comments.
Definitely agreed. I'm sad that the awards are over because we're that one step closer to the end of this final episode and the end of the season. Again, the gratitude is overflowing from us to everyone out there who has listened, viewed, commented, left us a review. We have appreciated all the love that you guys have shown us, but we want to come back bigger and better in the next season. So there are some things that we want you to know to look forward to in the next season. Why you should come back and listen to or view PO the Pod, the Perpetually Overdue podcast again. First of all, us. I mean, you get us again.
Hello.
Hello. And we love seeing you guys and hearing from you guys, and hopefully you like seeing our faces and hearing from us as well. But what are some other things that they can expect next season, Desiree?
So we've been talking and we've been plotting and just really thinking that for season 2 we'd like to maybe change up the format for some episodes. So pretty much you've seen us really keep to a set format from beginning to end of season 1. And so we're thinking might visually give you a little something extra for season 2, We may go a little vlog style perhaps for maybe certain things or travels or documentation. That we have some ideas. So that's something that we look forward to. And we look forward to planning as well before we return. So there's one possible change coming.
To piggyback off of that, this year, me and my husband are going to Scotland. We do travel quite a bit within the United States, and we make it a point to travel abroad at least once or twice a year if we can. And so this year we're going to Scotland. So there might be... there could potentially be a little vlog there. I've never vlogged, especially in public, so I don't know. I might get my feet wet a little bit, but
I mean, you have a very supportive, visually creative husband to play cameraman as well, which will be nice.
I do, but I think it's more of the public being amongst the public aspect of
definitely.
it.
It's weird. I've tried with my YouTube channel. We don't need to talk about what that is, but and it is petrifyingly anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
Picking up, and I use my phone. I don't even use like a camera like some vloggers do.
That. Yeah. It'd have to be the phone. I'm thinking of a little bit of a way around it where I don't have to talk directly at the camera. Maybe I can do a little bit of a voiceover action. And then like when we're inside the hotel, then I can speak kind of thing.
I like that.
We are planning... I can say this because my mom does not watch this podcast, but my mom's dream is South Korea. So we really want to take her to South Korea next year. She has to get a passport. The woman has to get her passport renewed. So we'll see if that happens. We want to go during the season, like March, where it's like cherry blossom season.
Wow.
But our trip for next year that we really want to do is Tokyo.
Ooh.
So
I didn't know this.
I will be happy to take everybody on those rides with us to different places. And in addition to that, Desiree and I, are very creative people. So we would love to take you on a journey, whether it's aesthetic journaling, whether it's writing a story, which we wanted to do a short story together. We can take you on that process, or bullet journaling, or doing some other creative pursuit. We'll make it happen.
So just, some fun things to look forward to in regards to the change of format that we're going to play around with for season 2.
Exactly. Another thing that we're going to do is bring back a tried and true, the thing that everybody loves. Am I the asshole? You'll get more
Those,
episodes of
yes.
those.
You guys definitely enjoyed those. So luckily we enjoyed making them and we definitely plan to do more.
Desiree, what's the next one?
So this makes Heather very happy because
Yes,
we couldn't do that this year, being that we will actually officially be on break from season 1. But next season, we are most definitely having a Halloween episode.
Yes.
With all the works, the dress up, the backgrounds, the decoration.
Yes.
I mean, she practically already has that set.
My aesthetic is already
nothing.
Halloween.
But you have seen nothing yet. I've seen some of what she can do. Just get ready, friends. It's going to be a full event. We're going to have fun, talk about all spooky things. I'm excited.
I am so excited for that. And as always, we are going to probably pretty much in every season have more book content because we are bookish girls, especially in the fall. Give me practical magic. Give me a cozy fantasy or cozy romance to read with a hot cup of whatever. My new favorite, if you go to Dutch Brothers, if you have a Dutch Brothers, it's like, it's a butter cookie. It's literally fall in a cup. I fuck pumpkin spice. Butter cookie is where it's at with the butter cookie soft top, which soft top has just changed my life in general. So more book content. And then maybe because we've talked about him so much, we can convince Nick to make a cameo for an episode and you all can finally meet the infamous Nick, my husband.
Yes, who was a huge part of us launching this podcast. He created all of our graphics, our visuals, our logo. I mean, amazing. I mean, what he did, the giddiness every time we saw a mock-up of what was being created in that time.
Yeah.
And he did it so efficiently, and he's such a supporter and lots of fun. So I'm excited for you guys to be able to see a cameo of Heather's husband.
He is such a sweetheart. By the way, he doesn't know he's making a cameo yet, but he'll do it because he is a sweetheart and he's very supportive, like Desiree said. Yes. And it'll be fun. We've even talked about doing like a podcast together before Perpetually Overdue really, I don't want to say took off because we're not at that point of taking off, but when we really started to get into weekly filming and editing and all of that stuff, we're both have pursuits outside of that, so it doesn't seem realistic for us to then try to start a podcast ourselves. So it'll be fun to get him on, and if it's a topic that he's passionate about, like he can talk. What?
No, I'm saying that would be because in my head when we say cameo, I'm here thinking he's just gonna be like, "Hi guys," but I love the idea of him actively participating in the episode. Yes,
I think he would for sure. We'll just squeeze together into the frame. I'll just be like, go on in, honey.
I love it. All right, friends, this is the time you've hopefully been waiting for if you plan to come back, is the announcement of when season 2 will return. And officially, it's going to be one hell of an event that we are very excited about because of where it lands. Heather, will you let the audience know the launching date for season 2?
Well, friends, similar to us talking about a holiday episode, we want to return to season 2 with a Christmas cozy episode. And we did have one this past year, but we're going to amp it up even more. Yes. We'll have more time to prepare. We're going to get all decked out. We're going to have all the Christmas fixings. Yes. It is not going to be about pagan rituals. It's going to be just more about what's our favorite things about Christmas. Yes. So because we have learned from the past that if you put an episode out on the week of Christmas, ain't nobody watching it. At least not immediately. They might watch it after the fact. Yeah. So we are going to put out this episode December 16th. That's when we are coming back officially.
So, friends, we won't be gone that long. We're only going to be gone a couple months, at most. And we're very excited. This is going to be a good time to kind of also individually kind of refresh, catch up on other life pursuits and things, get established, and then really prepare the new episodes for the new season. And like Heather said, we're going to talk about favorite Christmas movies, memories, foods, activities. It's going to be such a cozy episode as a return that hoping that you guys are going to be anticipating it and that we'll see you back for season 2.
Season 2. And just so you all know, we're not going MIA. We're still going to be on social media. We are going to be reposting old episodes, trying to garner those views, not for views' sake, but just because we want to expand our community and get to know you guys even more than we have on TikTok, which has completely screwed us.
And supposedly there's a ban on the 17th, but maybe not. Who the hell knows anymore? We'll see what happens. But remember, we are elsewhere. We're also on Instagram. And you, again, can comment and chat with us on YouTube, Spotify, or any of the podcast platforms that also have the comment section available to you.
Absolutely. So, we always say until next time. And this time, until next season, guys. Bye.
Bye.